Hello, welcome to another episode of CEO's Corner. My name is Flora and I'm your host. Today, we are going to be having an amazing time here at Instiq Professional Services Limited, which is a tech solutions provider for banking and financial services institutions, health sectors, education sectors, and all other sectors in all sizes here in Africa. We're also going to be discussing with the CEO about the journey through the success story and how it is going now. And so, I would like for you to stay with us through to the end so that you get to enjoy all that we have in store for you. Don't go anywhere. Tolulope Davids, also known as Tolu Davids, is the CEO of Instiq Professional Services, a leading provider of tech solutions to financial, educational, and health institutions of all sizes in Africa. Tolu started his career in Nigeria's banking sector, working in the banking software application support team in one bank and as a manager in another. He joined a professional services firm as lead consultant. He later co-founded Forever Gardens Limited, an agro-investment company in Nigeria. Tolu is also the CEO of EazziCash, a finance company with focus on providing quick fund solutions to the poor and the middle class segment of the population. What EazziCash does is that it gives customers the opportunity to access funds quickly without dealing with the challenging process of obtaining loans from commercial banks. Customers can also easily turn their assets to cash. Tolu's Instiq also provides IT consulting, training, DevOps outsourcing, and core banking services to its customers. Instiq has over 12 products in its portfolio that serve organizations across different sectors in Nigeria and Africa. Tolu holds a bachelor's degree in computer science from the University of Ado-Ekiti and a master's degree in business administration from Obafemi Awolowo University. In 2020, Tolu's Instiq was one of the 10 finalists who pitched at FCUBS Nigeria Summit, the culmination of its first digital startup accelerator program in Nigeria. Tolu Davids is happily married to a beautiful wife and 2 lovely kids. We are honored to be spending the next few minutes with Tolu Davids. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce and welcome to this episode Mr. Tolulope Davids, the CEO of Instiq Professional Services. Hello, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. It's a privilege to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you doing?
You can see we are doing great as a company,
right.
And individually, I'm cool.
That's great. All right, kicking off, tell me, how has the journey been for Instiq Professional Services?
It's a long journey, really. I really do not know where to start from, but maybe we should start from, you can say beginning. Okay. Beginning of when we transitioned from working in a financial service sector into providing technological solutions. So it started in 2015. Somebody like me, I grew up to become an Oracle expert in that space, deploying core banking solution for various banks. But at some point, we started thinking about Africa and our journey to Africa. Most of the solutions that we usually get from overseas are really what I would tag a vanilla product, whereby you have to do a whole lot of customizations to get the solution suitable for African markets. So at that point, we felt we cannot just continue like this. We have the best of brains around here, and then we should be able to, develop a CBA, if I say CBA, core banking application, okay, for this space. Yes, we are one of the few companies that took the bull, by the horn to say, let's start it. And then that's our journey. It was a very big journey that is stressful at the beginning. It took us 2 years really without revenue at the start. But here we are today, everybody is talking about Instiq because we are not just in Nigeria today. We are providing those same service suites to about 20 African countries.
That's quite a big deal. I would say well done on that. So I see that Instiq Professional Services has a lot of enterprise software solutions. I think you have Dotflow, My Youngster, about 10, right? Now, how do you manage all of these solutions?
So just to correct you a bit, we currently have 12 enterprise solutions.
Oh, nice.
It's a big deal because when you say enterprise, these are not solutions meant for very few users. It's actually used within an organization that has enterprise operations. So in terms of management, because the core of what we do is about digitization. So if you say people could get bored with manual processes, and then at some point you are using technology to transform that. That's what we do. So we also internally are doing exactly the same thing to manage all of our core enterprise solutions. So if you say you have one solution, take for instance, a transaction made easy, TME, core banking. That solution is in about 19 countries, and we don't have operational offices in 19 countries. So what we do really is to streamline our engagement in terms of operation to be virtual. So we organize our support team virtually per country, and then even business development team, virtually per country, such that you don't have to be in the office. Again, these are lessons, big lessons that pandemic in 2020 has taught us. So really, that's how we manage, all of those are core operations. And I can tell you, one good thing lacking in Africa that people must learn is that you do not, have to be everywhere to provide services in terms of being physically there to provide the service. So if you look at the big tech company like Microsoft, like Oracle, you see that they are managing support operation virtually, and it's working. But the flavor that makes us a bit unique is that whatever we are providing to you as a solution or service is tailored towards, the cooperation that should happen in Africa. It is adapted such that if you call any of our support team, they have a feel of how those operational processes or those SOP should work really. And, that's how we are managing, and that's the uniqueness or edge that we have as a company.
Right. So from your answer now, I have 2 questions.
Good.
First one is, you said that you don't have physical offices in all of these other countries outside Nigeria. So, which means that most of your staff, they work remotely, or, they're hybrid workers. Okay,
so proud to say 3 years ago, or prior to the pandemic, our strategy is always around creating offices and all of those things, or forming partnership to leverage on partners' offices, across where we think we are going. But that change, and I must also stress the target sector for us is around very matured sectors like financial service industry. Prior to pandemic, I'm not sure, no bank will expose their data or their infrastructure to you to work on it remotely. You may have to be there physically. But that has changed really, because during pandemic, even existing projects, bank has, they don't have a choice than to give a VPN connection to some of those infrastructure, and then we are able to work. So we took a decision as a company to say, if bank can allow us to operate this way, then our process too must support that. So what we are doing, because we don't have offices around, people work remotely, you know, on those projects, but in an hybrid form. So if you work really on a project, we have certain days that you may have to come to the office for physical connection and then physical review, because that is also important. Again, few other people also have to be checked in a way that you are sure that they understand the objective of the project or the task that is assigned to them. So currently, we have more like 80% remotely, 20% physical engagements.
Right. That's great. And you would say that, you know, your staff working remotely or hybridly is getting the work done efficiently?
Absolutely, absolutely. If you look at it, Africa is lacking in a lot of infrastructure, as it were. So commuting in a city like Lagos is also a big factor. So if you look at somebody moving from maybe a mainland to an island to work, you'll probably be, you know, wasting about 4 to 6 hours on a peak period days to traffic. So what we do, even the days that we come to work really, are the days we specifically or strategically chose those dates such that there are some days in a week where there is no traffic. I don't want to mention that, but I'm saying that's how we work. And they are getting the work done, because in the morning, there is a stand-up meeting virtually to ask you what you are doing. And then in the evening, there's the same. So nobody can hide and say, oh, I promised to deliver this today. People will ask you in the evening, are you getting it done? What are you planning to do tomorrow? If the expectation is also not right, your supervisor is guiding, you know. And I think if at the management level, we are tracking performance, it has actually improved more than allowing people to do a full physical work.
Great. That's good. Now, talking about the pandemic, how did the pandemic affect business?
Okay, so I can talk really about our sector, which is a technology sector. You can say maybe 30–40% of the players have to change their game. Even though about 10% of all of us in fintech space, pandemic actually came and then gave us a level of positivity. Because a lot of people can introduce some sort of innovative solution, some sort of digitization that were not there before. I'm not sure, Flora, whether you know anything like, maybe take for instance, some of those online meeting solution before. But now everybody is talking about, can you book me on Zoom? Can you do this? So those virtual meetings then came. But imagine the people providing such a solution. They fall within the category of those 10 people, 10 set of companies, 10% set of companies, you know, that are benefiting from such pandemic. The other point I want to make is that a whole lot of people lost revenue because if you cannot quickly change your game, you then see that you are left behind. A whole lot of people are doing traditional work. Imagine somebody fixing cable for network across all of the branches, and there are no branch operations again. So if you can't, you know, change your game from fixing cable for the network to providing maybe cloud hosting infrastructure support in terms of DevOps, again, you will lose out. So if people study, you know, the revenue model for those periods, everybody felt that it. But again, it's a big lesson, and then people have changed their strategy, in terms of how you run your operations and all of those things now. And I think it pays off.
So you would say that business is doing well now, compared to maybe before pandemic?
Yes, I quite agree with you, because you can look at it to say it helps organizations to build resilience.
Yeah, sure.
So sometimes it also helps organizations to cost waste, because if you are not challenged, your leadership strategy may not, look at some certain areas that are important for you to cost waste. So it is good in a way, and I think those lessons will follow us into the future as we all grow together.
Yeah, right. And that's just to make sure that the business keeps growing.
Absolutely,
yes.
Absolutely.
And to ensure that the work is done efficiently and successfully.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, still talking about this business, we know that there are quite a number of tech solution provider companies in Nigeria here. How do you manage to cope with competition?
Okay, so I think our model is a bit quite different, and this is a lesson for people who are also planning to go into this kind of business.
Right.
If you study maybe 100% of technology company that you can find around here, you see that the model of operating, you can actually categorize them into three. So the first one could be people who are just enabling payments. Helping B2B, helping B2C to achieve payments. They are not banks, they are just sitting in between. You could categorize the second set of business to the people who are actually believing and not want to disrupt. They believe that the model for Africa should be, I will be a business reseller or a wholesaler to a company that is far away in, say, US, or a company that is far away in India. So they are just helping people to sell, more like getting commission on sales and the rest. They don't do anything. And 80% of most players falls into this category. So you see somebody selling a software solution, but they will tell you they have an OEM maybe in Europe. So whatever decision they need to take, they will have to revert back to that OEM. So the third category is the one that Instiq falls into. Recall that I said most of us have worked with the big tech giants. For instance, I was an Oracle expert. So we decided not to say we want to be selling solution of those people. So from day one, we said we have to build our own as a local alternative to those solutions out there. So if people say core banking, everybody say you cannot find it in Africa. You go to Asia or you go to America or Europe. So our model is there's nothing in all of those solutions. We could build them here. Yes, it will take time, but it will actually be a better alternative because we understand the processes in Africa. So take, for instance, there are some companies, financial institutions in Africa, that when you deposit your cash in the bank, it doesn't reflect until next day or in 2 days. There is no solution in abroad that you can get without customization that will achieve that. But we, because we understand some of those processes, we have actually built a solution to be able to solve that particular unique need. So we are really not competing, locally, because we have a niche market for ourselves. And we are hoping more people will join us because the problem we are solving is large enough. Instiq alone cannot solve it.
Okay. True. So these products now, or these services that you provide, you're not providing rather only in Nigeria. You have other African countries, right? Can you please help us mention these countries?
Oh, if we say other countries, we have, apart from Nigeria, we have 19 countries. At the top of my head, I will just mention few, but I know there are more than that. We have few banks in Nigeria that have taken us to even their subsidiary, and we have those solutions there. So if you look at a country like Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, we are there. We are in Kenya, we are in Guinea, we are in Ghana, we are in Sierra Leone, we are in Rwanda, you know, and the rest. So there are quite a lot of, even countries that are, you know, speaking Portuguese, you know, we have some of our solutions running there. So the 3 variant versions we have are always either French, English, or Portuguese.
And so tell me, how is business like in these other African countries compared to business here in Nigeria?
Okay, so we have to understand that as a Nigerian, people perceive us to be the giant of Africa, even though because of political leadership, we are a bit losing it. But when you go down and look at our resourcefulness as a country, you will understand that you cannot even pick any product internationally and say a Nigerian's hand is not there. So if you go pick Facebook, you see the core enterprise people, you know, working in some of these organizations are Nigerian. I have some of our contractors that work for us, that are working for Google, that are working for Yelp. And people say those are big American tech companies. So we are there. We understand what we are doing. We are very brilliant. So when you now compare what we are doing in Africa compared to other African countries, you will know that they actually depend on us. They may be a bit slower in terms of adoption of technology compared to Nigeria. I could actually, you know, spend months in Nigeria without touching cash if I decide to do so, because I have alternative payment solutions, you know, available to me, either card, either you know, USSD, either bank mobile app, web, POS, you know, and all of those things. NFC and the rest are here. But you could go to an African country and realize that even the payment routing solution is not there. No national switch and the rest. So they are a bit laid back. And for me, one word I always say is that, yes, this is a problem in Africa, but it presents us as entrepreneurs an opportunity to make much impact. So each time we see such, you know, a problem and people are complaining about it, I say, oh, gold mine. So I wonder sometimes, just to add to it before closing, why people from US, from Europe are coming to Nigeria. You know, our Twitter CEO came to Nigeria, Facebook CEO came to Nigeria. Why? I'm telling you, the opportunity is here. But people are not seeing it. They would rather go out there to work for those people to then come here. And if we go today and talk about it, even up to investment, you will understand that the slavery part is still there. But who are the ones that will break it? It's people like you and I.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, for enlightening us about that. Now tell me, still talking about pandemic, did you have these businesses in other countries before or after the pandemic? So
our opportunity came before pandemic in terms of doing businesses outside Nigeria. And I will tell you how it all started. Because we work for mostly banks, so if we do, at contracting, we do a solution for a bank. The same bank will tell us, oh, I have 4 subsidiaries outside Nigeria. And I want to harmonize my processes to be that both brands, process, and people behave exactly the same way. So if you have digitized this process for me and I have your solution, can you replicate same into other country for me? So it started that way, and we started visiting other countries. And I think pandemic only helped us to do much more. Because before, you will think, oh, before I can do one country, I have to travel there to do implementation and all of that. But now, the barrier has been broken. Right. So we were expanding before pandemic. Okay. Pandemic only helped.
Oh, great, great. Because like you said, you know, there's the adaptation in other countries kind of slower and all of that. So it would be, you know, kind of like on the contrary, pandemic would probably make business there slower, or you have to do a lot of work to ensure that you reach a lot of people. But then it's good to know that pandemic enhanced and made it better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I see that you are not only the CEO of this Instiq Professional Services, you are also the CEO of EazziCash, a financial
services company.
Yeah, services company. So, as a CEO, how do you do all of these businesses together?
Okay, so I look at myself as an entrepreneur. I'm really not a one man that want to focus on one particular goal. And I will tell you, I started out as a farmer. There used to be a company called Forever Gardens, even though it's now for green now. So that was where I started out from. And then, you know, we started online money lending with rent money and the rest. That company is EazziCash, then Instiq, because really technology is my bread and butter. I am also having interest in real estate and the rest. So how do I manage all of this? I believe and it's an advice for African people, you can't succeed alone. You may have to involve other people. When you look at how business is being run, vision is yours, yes, if you can cast it, but executing the mission can never be you. And that's why you will not see, say, Dangote, for instance, still being the CEO, still being the CFO or running the company. Else, the company will not grow. And so if we drill it down to what is happening in Instiq, we are 5 that are managing Instiq, and we have 4 founders. Meaning that even me as the CEO, I don't own the total shares. So I can only cast vision, and we all make decisions together. That way, if the return is also coming, I'm also not the only one benefiting. Sure. A lot of other people are benefiting. So if you pick EazziCash, for instance, too, we are equally 3 that owns that company. Even though, because I'm passionate about any vision casted, I always want to, you know, ensure that the execution is fine and good, and that's why you see my name everywhere, right? Yeah. So, bit about how EazziCash started. I think I was working with one of the financial institutions as a business solution person, and one day I saw the need that people could actually get salary advance, you know, and I lent somebody 50,000, and at the end of the month the person paid, and I felt, oh, because I'm a tech business solution person, I could actually create a platform where people can lend money to each other. And maybe today the company is now partnering, doing car financing, looking at some of the Islamic product offerings and the rest, which is actually beyond me. But the possibility of helping a whole lot of people that are on the bank or underserved in terms of bank segment is there in Nigeria. And that's why a whole lot of money lending company is thriving, you know, in Nigeria. Yes, it is. That's true. That's very true. Now, you said that apart from all of these businesses that you're currently running, you're looking to have more, right? So that is a goal that you are, you want to achieve. So tell me, what is that one goal above all other goals that you are hoping that by the end of this year, you would have achieved it? Okay, so if you are close to me, I always repeat it. My goal is to impact a lot of African young people. And I'm passionate about this because there is a mindset out there that people believe that I could actually do illegitimate things to get more benefits. And you know, people like us represent a figure telling people that maybe you don't have to do Yahoo, you don't have to do some of those 419 schemes, some of those multi-level marketing things. You don't have to do it. You could actually provide service products in the legitimate way and make money. So my goal for this year is to actually impact 100,000 people. So you will see I have a podcast, I have some social media platform where I talk to people, you know, all the time to encourage them to do business. Africa remains, you know, that big second wave. It has left Asia, it's coming to Africa. And you can see a whole lot of companies springing up, you know, some of them joining $1 billion worth company, you know, now. And I think if we all can, maybe I always discourage Japa, but if we can all, you know, provide such solution, we are the best to solve our problem. No European, no American will come and solve our problem for us. So that's my goal, to make that larger impact of influencing and encourage people to solve African problems. People live in denial sometimes. If you say, I want to make $1 billion, maybe that's what you want. That's your vision. If you go and sleep, or you think, oh, I've casted that vision, some other people will make it happen. It may never happen. So the best way to go about it is the vision of that 1 billion is there. You may have to sit people down and make it realistic. So how do we? Can we list out 50 different things we are going to do to get to this mark? Can we assign 5 to people? Can they actually deliver on those 5? That's breaking it down into what you carry as a mission and then strategic goal. Beyond that, you may have to also check in some cycle. Is it weekly review? Is it every two weeks or every month? That you want to check on people. How far have you gone? Is there any form of scorecard, you know, to either celebrate the milestone or to either tell people, oh, you are far from the expectation. And you see, because of our culture, a whole lot of people run businesses with a whole lot of perception. Me, I deal with figure. And I tell you the way it is. Sometimes people perceive it, oh, maybe he doesn't like me. It is always not about emotion. It is about those figures. So, like that example of $1 billion, you break it down to 5 people to say, oh, it's going to be 200 million. And then you say every quarter, you know, you may have to achieve maybe 12 million or 12.5 million out of that. Or every month you may have to achieve that. Weekly, you are asking the person, what have you done? What have we achieved? So that you as a leader are not sitting down and say, at the end of the year, I'm expecting this person to bring 200 million. But if you know in week 1 that this guy has not achieved the 12.5%, and you ask the right question, you may know whether you even need to help the person. Or maybe the goal in itself is even not realistic. So that you make it realistic. And again, people don't do a whole lot of, I will close from there, a lot of insights. Insights in terms of what had happened, reviewing the data of what had happened before. So if you are giving somebody 200 million, has this person achieved 150 million before? So if this person has only achieved 10 million, maybe you are equally not realistic with that kind of goal. But if this person has achieved 150 million before, you could actually drill down that data to say Let's look at the revenue mix, for instance. Okay. You have achieved product A of 20 million, product B of 30 million, product C of 50 million. It makes you to have this 150 million. I think, do you think you can do 20% more of A? Do you think people are winding down on product B? Maybe you do lesser of that. Can you increase this? And those are the you know, the reality. Yes. And when there is that constant check, everybody cannot go wrong. Yes. And I also think, let me add, people work better with what I call in Africa, what is in need for me. So if you are setting realistic goal, you may also need to let people understand what is in need for them. So if you say you are getting an official car, you are getting this, you are getting that, it must go along with that expectation of what you will do. So what I see people do around there is they will tell you, oh, the person financing the project is rich. So yes. Let him keep paying. We are just there to support. This is not a political gathering. Right. If you are running a business, business is business. And it is from what you get that you will benefit from. Sure. Nobody is ready, you know, to sweat for you. So you may have to let people understand these two things. That it is what you do that you get. So that's the way I look at that. Great.
I think I would say that well solves the whole problem and definitely makes you know that, oh yes, I'm staying right on track to achieve set goals. Right. So finally in this segment, you said that, you know, you like to reach 100,000 minds and all of that on a particular project, right? What other innovations are you looking to achieve, either near short-term or long-term goals?
So my long-term goal is very funny, and I will tell you. I want to work so hard now, and at some point experience a whole lot of things that maybe I cannot benefit here on planet Earth. And I will tell you one of those goals. Each time I see people travel to International International Space Station, I see people traveling to the moon, to the Mars, and I'm wondering, this is the kind of place I want to see. I want to see, you know, at some point, how that gravity is very low, such that if I'm on a Mars, I'm bouncing, you know. And those are long-term things. And I think if you are successful, it's possible to achieve some of those things. But in the immediate, I'm looking at retirement could be early. Guidance at the very top level of board level could be what I want to use my 50s to do. So I want to help quite a number of businesses, even the businesses that are not mine. Currently, I'm the chairman of a company called JB's Furniture. What does JB's do really? They are encouraging a lot of young girls, you know, to go into upholstery. So they tag that project, they tag that project Lagos Skill Up. So you will see people that doesn't have opportunity as a female to go to school, some people that have been abused and all of those other stories. You see them coming to JB's for empowerment. And I think a lot of people are helping that mission. There is a German NGO that is currently supporting with, I think, 200,000 euro. And you know, these are impacts that I want to make. And I may not be earning from JB's, but I'm there, you know, leading the team at the board level to ensure that some of these impacts are realized. And you see, those are some of the midterm goals of what I want to achieve. And without putting my name in the public to say this is what we are doing.
Yes.
But that impact is reaching quite a number of people.
Wow. That's great. I would say these are beautiful long-term and immediate goals, and we'll be expecting to see all of these things happen.
See me in the
I can't wait to see that. Please take pictures and send it. All right, that's what we have for this segment. Moving on to the next segment that I call Moment of Truth. We have just about a couple of questions that I'll ask you. And this segment requires that you tell us honestly,
I will.
what you think. So my first question is, how would you describe your personality?
Oh, if you ask me to be truthful, I will tell you it is actually forceful, pushing boundary. Never believe that anything cannot be done. Right. And so sometimes it could be intimidating to people who really do not know me. So that's the truth. And so people say, oh, I don't want to cross this line and all of those things. But if you look at it, really, the end goal is actually what is driving me. So I hate people saying it cannot be done, finding excuses and all of those things. So I could be forceful at times. I have that kind of personality. I'll be truthful.
So how well do you work with someone who feels like, oh, this man is intimidating, I don't want to...
Okay, so because it's a moment of truth, and that's why I sit at the very top and ensure that for people who sees me as, oh, I'm too far from them, I may probably not relate with them a lot. And that's why I say, oh, how we handle the leadership, I understand where we are going. There are other people who are subtle in terms of management that will engage and be a supervisor to people and the rest and all of that. And again, if those people, I am driving them, they understand the reason why I'm driving, because they are managers and supervisors, they understand where we are going.
So, yeah,
so that's the strategy.
So, yeah, just as long as the work is getting on its own,
I'm happy.
You're happy. As long as they see that, okay, the end goal is realistic.
I'm happy.
You're happy. Great. All right, on to the next question. Would you describe yourself as a risk taker?
You see, nobody will be in business without taking a level of risk or not. So I'm a risk taker. In fact, I don't think twice about quite a number of things. And what is really our fear in taking risk? Sometimes it goes bad. You should also be able to take responsibility. I have run a company at some point, moment of truth, that I had to use even my wife's pension to pay off investor. You know, so you could know that kind of huge, you know, embarrassment and debt. But that's part of business. The thing I tell people is never be afraid to take risk. At the end of the day, two things you must consider. If I had all of my positive together and I had all of my negative, I'm not saying you will not have negative. If I had it, if I net it off, is it positive? That's when you will know that you are actually progressing. But if it's negative, you may need to rethink, you know, and reconsider your stand on your journey. But if it's always positive, you are actually on the right track. If you say, oh, I don't want negative at all, then you are not ready for business.
That's very true, because as an entrepreneur, you must be ready for both profit and loss, positive and negative.
Absolutely.
This is very true, very true. Okay, as a CEO, do you have other CEOs that you look up to, maybe in this line of business?
Okay, maybe not in this line of business. There is a guy called Ike Imokwede. He used to be the CEO of Access Bank. I like his style. Fortunately for me, I only met him or sitting with him once for about 5 minutes. It's inspiring, and I look up, you know, to him in terms of a his calm nature of how he leads and get things done. Even though forceful as well, but you will never see, you know, that in his composition. Secondly, I like what Tony Elumelu is doing in terms of the empowerment part, and then seeing or creating a better vision for Africa. And I think is in line with some of the things I want to do in the future.
Yes, and like I said, we'll be expected to see those things happen. Definitely. Now, is there anything outside, you know, the tech space that you would be doing? If not this, if you're not in this, you know, career path or in this business, is there anything that is not tech that you'll be doing?
Okay, so I think I will be doing more of real estate reclassification. Let me, you know, it is a big goal. The way, if you look back 30 years ago, you will see that some of those places we call city today are really not city. But today, we are finding it so difficult to get even a piece of land to build. So there is this redevelopment mindset that must come into play to most of the city. Sometimes in terms of planning, those cities are not even better planned. I'm talking about Africa, you know. And if I'm not running tech, I would rather be looking at that to say, if you go to Lagos Island, for instance, are there redevelopment that can happen within some of those areas that will make people to live a better life and all of those things? And I like a bit of minimalistic concepts in terms of redevelopment. So if I say I have a small building, can that building be converted such a way that rather than having 4 or 5 families staying in that building, we could double it to say 50 people will stay there in a minimalistic approach. You have a room to yourself, all the things you want and all of that within, and then you are provided jointly the kind of amenities you want and all of that. So if power could be provided for all and not everybody owning a better part my neighbor. So those kind of things, I would like to be fully involved in such thing. One way you are bettering you know, the people around you. You are solving one of the key 3 primary things that people must have in terms of food, shelter and what's the third one?
Clothing. Clothing, yes.
So again, if you are an entrepreneur, that's how to think, to say what are the basic things, and one of it is shelter. And it's difficult in Africa to achieve that because there are no mortgages and all of those other things. So if one can create that, I want to be part of it in, if I'm not doing tech.
All right, finally, what advice would you like to give to people with limited experience in tech, or would like to be in this career path, or would like to be a CEO one day?
Okay, so the first thing is the decision that you want to do. I tell my people to say, what I like about people who want to go into tech is one spirit of I can do. If you don't have that spirit, the world in itself is not going into a stage where people have to be at the 4 walls of a classroom before they can learn. Most of the things that happen now, you could see it on YouTube, you could see it on Google. You know, you can actually do what is called self-learning on a lot of things. So what I tell people is, first of all, determine and, you know, tell yourself, this thing, I want to do it. And it is that mindset that you need. So if you come into my office and you say this, I tell you, what do you want to become? You say, oh, I want to be a full stack developer. I will say, go on LinkedIn. After all, it's free, and you need somebody to actually be what is called the people who are actually checking on you to say, this is what you've said and you are going to do it. And so go on LinkedIn, write it there that you are a full stack developer writing C# language and begin to learn it. Because you have told the world,
Yes,
you must work towards it.
Yes.
Else, one day you go and drop that profile because you are not able to achieve it. But if you say, oh, on my own, it has to be in my heart, you will not be challenged enough to one day to realize that goal. So, like your question, I can only advise people to say, resolve in your mind what you want to do, and you will definitely achieve it.
All right, I think you've heard it all from the CEO. Make a resolve in your heart to achieve a particular goal, and you see yourself achieving it. Thank you so much, Mr. Tolulope Davids.
Thank you, Flora, for having me. And I hope this inspires people and promote your platform as well.
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, this is where we draw the curtain on the show today. Thank you so much for sticking with us to the end. I hope you had an amazing time and you learned one or two things from this episode, because I have. And we've learned, what the journey has been like, what the success story is, how it is going, because truly, that is what CEO's Corner is about. And if you did enjoy this episode, please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, All News Nigeria TV. Click on that notification bell so that you get notified when we have fresh content like this for you. And also, do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at All News Nigeria on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And until next time, my name is Flora. See you.